Namaste viewers, welcome to Gnana channel. We are going through the meaning of the Yoga Sutras, Patanjali Yoga Sutra, the Kaivalya Pada. We are going through the meaning, and in this episode we will go through the meaning of the 22nd Sutra. 22nd Sutra is citeḥ apratisaṅkramāyāḥ tad-ākāra-āpattau sva-buddhi-saṁvedanam. Citeḥ apratisaṅkramāyāḥ tadākārāpattau svabuddhisaṁvedanam. Let us try to break this sutra into different words and then understand the meaning. The first word is citeḥ. Citeḥ means it's all the entire sutra is describing the citeḥ, the mind only. So here citeḥ means mind or mento-emotional awareness. Emotional awareness and things like anything connected with that chitta. Apratisaṅkramāyāḥ, when there is no movement, apratisaṅkram, that means when there is no movement or transference from one state to another. When the mind, when there is no movement of or transfer from one state to another, tad-ākāra-āpattau, when it takes on that specific form or appearance, ākāra, when it takes that form, sva-buddhi-saṁvedanam, the awareness or perception of its own buddhi, intellect. Now, how do we understand this? Here, when the mind is not shifting from one activity to another, say now he is very clearly coming to this thing. See, the mind, it is chanchala, it goes on in different angles and then different thoughts. Here he says, when the mind is not shifting, when the mind is constantly in one subject or one aspect, if it is not shifting from one activity to another, if it is not changing, then it has assumed the form of pure awareness. Or it has assumed, at that point it perceives its own intellect. Its own intellect it will perceive. So this sutra, it dives deep into the mystical workings of the mind, how it is working, and self-awareness. Patanjali says that the mind is usually always in motion. It is never at one thought, one place or one thing. It keeps on changing its thoughts, changing its position, jumping from one thought, jumping from one feeling, or trying to identify to another. It keeps on varying. Like a markata buddhi, markata means monkey. It's always not steady. It looks here, like this. It keeps on markata buddhi, keeps on changing its stance. Because of this constant fluctuation, we do not see the mind itself clearly, nor we understand our intellect. We don't understand our intellect, which is the decision making and discriminative part of this inner instrument, that is antahkarana. He is a part of this buddhi, is an antahkarana. So the next step is, he says, when the mind becomes still, when it stops transferring or shifting between different objects, different identities, different thoughts, different emotions, different observations, different things, and when it assumes that form of stillness, that is, it doesn't change, something special happens. So if it is chanchala, that is the mind's natural thing, When it assumes that stillness, when it sticks to only one aspect, one thing, something special happens. In that state of stillness and unity, the mind reflects the intellect clearly. The mind, it reflects the intellect, buddhi, chitta, buddhi, chitta and buddhi. The chitta will reflect the buddhi clearly, and one gains awareness of their own discriminative faculty. At that point, he will gain awareness of his own discriminative faculty without confusing it with the self. So, ekagrate is most important. That is what he says. So now, if you have to look at some kind of analogy, think of a lake. If it is filled with waves and ripples, you can't see the reflection of the moon clearly. It keeps on waving, You can't see supposing on a moonlit light, you can't see the reflection of the moon. But when the lake is completely still, the moon is reflected perfectly. Similarly, the mind is fluctuating. If the mind stops fluctuating, it perfectly reflects the subtle workings of the intellect. See, mind, intellect, See, this intellect, mind is the one thing, which is changing this intellect also. See, as the mind goes on this way, that way, and all those things, the intellect also, it goes on like this. It doesn't stay still. But when you keep the mind and you stop that fluctuating, then the subtle aspects of intellect, it will be exhibited. That will allow true inner observation. So in cognitive science, this is what is called as metacognition. That is the ability to be aware of your own thinking. But here Patanjali takes it further into the realm of spiritual self-realization. Now, supposing some real life example, if you have to take, when you're caught in a storm of emotions, you are angry, you are excited, you have fear, you can't really observe yourself. You can't just act normally. Simple example. But in moments of calmness, stillness, meditation, calm meditation, when there is no mental chatter, you suddenly become aware of your inner faculties. How you judge, how you react, how you perceive. That is sva-buddhi-saṁvedanam. Sva-buddhi-saṁvedanam. The mind perceiving its own structure. So you have to allow your mind, the buddhi, mind to not to chatter and be calm. So, Vyasa Maharshi, he says, just as a pure crystal takes on the color of whatever it is placed upon, so too the still mind takes on the form of intellect, allowing it to be seen directly. Now, some of the key insights here are, you are not the mind or the intellect, but you must understand both clearly to go beyond them. This clarity arises only when the mind is quiet. If it is moving around, you can't understand it. So the core message here is, stillness of mind leads to clear perception of intellect. Beautiful statement. Stillness of mind leads to clear perception of intellect. Only in silence can you see the truth of your inner mechanism. True detachment begins with inner clarity. These are all the messages that one can infer from this Sutra 22nd Sutra. So, when the mind stops wandering and becomes still, it can see the workings of the intellect clearly. Viewers, with this explanation on this Sutra 22, we conclude this episode. Please like, share, and then subscribe to our channel. Please post your comments in the comment box after having gone through the video description completely. Thank you.